Let's check out the Sprite ice-cold keys to the game. Now, Clark, as you take a look at the Hornets, what do you think will be the key for them?
They need to watch how Kevin Love gets going. I'll tell you his meal ticket, too. It's crashing the boards. He leads the NBA in rebounding. So if you're defending him, you make sure you get a body on him. Don't worry about rebounding. Block him out.
And, Clark, what do you think about Minnesota? What's the key for them?
Kevin, they need to watch how Emeka Okafor gets going. If you don't keep him off the boards, he can take over a game with his offensive rebounding, giving his team extra possession. So boxing him out is your priority.
Now Love, averaging 16 points a game.
That's too easy. The D's got to get to him about 8 feet further out.
Grant drops it in from 12 feet.
Great awareness makes him a dangerous threat every time down the floor.
On defense, the Hornets, they come into this one following the loss to the Grizzlies.
So often, much of basketball comes down to a few key opportunities, a few key plays. Later on, they had their chances, but I think they gave them away early.
The triple buried by Flynn.
Kevin, when you're defending a great shooter like that, you got to smell his breath. You got to be right on top of it.
Now Paul. Not a good performance from him in that loss to Memphis. Here's Grant. Gomes yanks down the defensive rebound. The break is on. Led him nicely with the dish, and it's laid in by Flynn. He's got 5.
Nice feed inside. Sets his teammate up for the easy deuce.
Here's Grant. The shot is off, and Minnesota the other way now. They come into this one following a loss to the Thunder.
I didn't think we saw a real strong outing defensively from them, Kevin. And very few teams can get away with winning, maybe a handful of games, if that, relying solely on their offense.
Now Paul, right now averaging 17 points a game.
He's not the guy you would expect to compete in the dunk contest, but he can still throw it down when he needs to.
And Minnesota has possession. 6-point game. Flynn kept alive. Stolen away.
The interior D was lurking on that one.
To Paul, gets in close, finishes with the soft touch. We're always trying to make lists of the best guard, the best center, the best this, the best that. Is Chris Paul the best point guard right now in the NBA?
Well, I would probably give him a slight edge over Darren Williams. I like Darren's
and you
size.
love Darren
I really do.
I
like his pace of play. I like his poise. I like his smarts. Chris Paul has all of that. Darren has him by a couple of inches. But Chris right now is probably a half step ahead.
I agree with you.
Just about all of the other point guards out there for his consistency and the way he leads his team. Stays in that 20-10 category on a regular basis.
Efficient, great defensively, leadership like you just talked about.
No, he's got
it all.
Yeah, he's got the full package. There's no holes in his package. Brewer, good. You might remember Corey Brewer as a key cog in the back-to-back national championship teams at Florida a couple of years ago. He was the most outstanding player in the 2007 NCAA tournament. He struggled a bit early in his pro career, but he's a guy who has tremendous potential to be a defensive stopper and also to be a productive offensive player.
And so here is Minnesota after the Hornets pick up 3. Gomes leads him with the pass to Petcherov. Let's go with a 3. That's good.
And right now, Kevin, they're getting everything they want and sending a message while they're doing it.
That first time out of the game called for New Orleans. And the Timberwolves going with something different. And here are the Hornets now. They trail by 6. Here's Grant. Had a piece of it. Great play by Love. We talked about sending a message, Clark. This certainly is one way to do that.
Well, it really is, Kevin. I mean, it's demoralizing to a defense when you can't and don't consistently get stops.
And here are the Hornets now, following the bucket by the Timberwolves. Here's Grant from close range. Graceful finish. He's got 8.
That's where you get the high percentage shots when you get the ball inside. Good things happen. That's a nice play.
It's a pick by Love. Flynn. Count it! And he'll have a chance for a three-point play.
That's his first personal foul. Second team foul. Number 7.
Good for the three-point play. Daniels with it. 40 seconds left in the first. Here's Grant. Hits the quick shot.
Grant.
And so here is Minnesota. They lead by 7. The last time these two clubs came together was also in this building, with an unfortunate ending for the home team.
And last time, Kevin, you'll remember they took the loss. Just could not match the energy and production off the bench.
So they'll likely be making Clark adjustments, knowing that the bench is going to come into play.
They don't want to get buried under that energy when the fresh legs come off the bench. They might be limiting the minutes of the starters a bit so they don't run themselves ragged chasing after that bench shift.
There's a lot going on.
A bunch going on. He can't be stopped. He's having a party out there.
Outright. Here's Love. Drains it from the wing. He has 6.
I tell you what, Kevin, both teams have been on a tear. This could be a very high-scoring game.
The Timberwolves with the early lead.
Well, they're scoring with ease. They've definitely hit the ground running. Let's see if they can keep it up.
And we end an exciting first quarter. The score, 26-19.
It's amazing.
Welcome back. We're glad you're with us. The second quarter should begin in just a moment.
I'm exhausted, barely breathing, holding on to what I believe in.
And so here is Minnesota. The Timberwolves maintain possession. Shooting at a high percentage. All teams aim to do that. Let's see the league's best. Taking a look at New Orleans, the most efficient team in the NBA in terms of scoring.
As a team, they really execute their offense, so guys know where they're going to get their shots from. And they make sure that guys shoot the shots they're most comfortable with. Ball movement, player movement, execution leads to high field goal percentage.
Flynn, barely misses the shot, but he'll go to the line for 2.
First team foul.
It's on Emeka Okafor.
Tough interior defense means not allowing easy baskets. Good foul.
He gets them both. And it's the Hornets with the ball. 9-point game. And a look at tomorrow night. It'll be Carmelo Anthony and the Denver Nuggets. They'll be hosting the New Orleans Hornets. It all gets underway at 7 o'clock Eastern.
You always want to get out of there with a win in that one.
So true. And Minnesota has possession. New Orleans coming up empty. Here's Flynn. Lays it in. Sweet dime to lead into the rack. He's got 17.
No one really contested him at the basket that time, Kevin. He's just too good in there to leave the door open for.
Timberwolves on D. 11-point game.
Kicked it to the right guy at the right time. That's a good pass.
Everybody clap your hands.
Here's Brewer. Buries the corner jumper.
His offense normally comes and goes, but he'll take that bucket.
Now a timeout called by New Orleans. Quickly, let's check out the Western Conference standings. The season in full bloom. Look at the Hornets. They're 8th in the conference and really looking to improve on the back end of the season. And, of course, the Minnesota Timberwolves just need to take it a game at a time.
You know, sometimes during the season, Kevin, as long as it is, teams just go through a blasé period, and that's basically...
Substitution on the court.
Now Paul. Okafor, baseline, all alone, and that is good. And they make it a single-digit game.
He detected the early opening there and took advantage. That's a smart decision.
Flynn lays it right in. 19 points in the game.
He's got a sky-high field goal percentage, and that's because he's been working to get good looks.
To Grant. Connects from in close. And so here is Minnesota. They have a 9-point lead. And following this game, they hit the road to challenge the Bucks at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. That's game 1 of a 3-game road trip. Now Love. His last outing, we saw him pour in 22.
This is called you must extend your defense, especially on the three-point marksman.
Here's Okafor. Lays it in. Sweet time to lead into the rack.
He's been extremely active out there, and he has the stats to prove it. Terrific hustle.
So the Timberwolves called their first timeout. Fans, next Monday you can catch another dose of hoops. It's going to be Rajon Rondo and the Boston Celtics. The Los Angeles Clippers come into town. That one gets underway at 7:30 Eastern.
You can count on it that both teams want to win.
Yep. Flynn had his pass go out of bounds, and they'll give up the ball. And it's the Hornets with the ball. Here's Grant. The rebound by Kevin Love. And so here is Minnesota. Left wing. Brewer buries the triple. He's got 7.
Well, the D will live with that one. That's really not his range. So even though he bagged the 3, I figure they'll still let him shoot those.
Here's Posey. Here's West. Here's Okafor. A follow-up flush.
He's really starting to ramp it up now, getting involved in the offense here after being held without a point in the first.
And so here is Minnesota, 11-point game. Grant from inside, lays it right in. Sweet touch by the rookie out of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Minnesota in the lead. To Love. West on him. 6 seconds to shoot. Here's Flynn. Nails the easy jumper. He's got 21.
You've got to close out on that mid-range jump shot. He's extremely deadly from there.
Here's Posey. No good. And Minnesota the other way now.
The D was lurking on that one, and it was just enough to throw off the shot.
Brewer, good. And here are the Hornets now. Grant from short range gets the lay-in. And here are the Timberwolves. They lead by 11. Poked away, and it goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Hornets. The story of rebounding. Now a look at the league's best players on the boards. You look at Love, no doubt one of the most efficient rebounders in the game.
When you talk about rebounders, this guy is relentless, and that's why he's one of the very best we have in the league. He goes after all rebounds. He never gives up on a missed shot. Whether it's near him or not, this guy's using his body, his quickness, his strength, and everything he has to beat people to rebound.
Here's Love, buries the short-range jumper. 8 points for him.
He's just so gifted offensively. He's a tough guy to match up with.
The Timberwolves
have been red hot offensively.
Yeah, but we've still got 2 quarters to play. Anything can happen. And that concludes the first half. The score, 46-33. Let's go to the T-Mobile halftime report. All right, let's look at the team stats. The Timberwolves have been able to score so easily that it seems almost effortless.
Yeah, they're putting on the clinic out there, as you can see from...
Hello and welcome back. We're glad you're with us. The NBA so many times comes down to a game of runs, and we'll see if a run here will turn this thing around as we get underway. And for tomorrow night at 7:30, it's a home game in Quicken Loans Arena for the Cavaliers. They'll be hosting the Oklahoma City Thunder. That one's scheduled for a tip-off at 7:30 Eastern.
It'll be fun to watch.
And it's the Hornets with the ball after the basket by Minnesota. Asia. Grant backs in. Here's Stojakovic. Love grabs the board.
Tough miss. They got a good look, just couldn't capitalize.
Flynn got a hand on it. It's going the other way. Nice block by Grant. The Hornets really having a tough go here. Down by 15. Grant backs him down. Here's Grant. Buries it. 22 points for him.
Not bad, partner. If he keeps this up and they can get a few stops, they should be able to narrow this margin.
On defense, the Hornets. It's a 13-point game. Here's Flynn. Laid in softly off the glass.
Excellent anticipation there, Kev. He placed that pass perfectly.
Now a timeout called by New Orleans. And the Timberwolves going with something different. Now Paul. About 3.5 minutes left in the third. Grant on the paint, gets the bucket and the foul.
That's his first personal foul, first team foul.
He completes the three-point play.
Grant, shooting
And
one.
so here is Minnesota. The biggest lead of the game, 15 points. Now Love. Top of the key. Here's Hollins. Connects from the high post. And they increase their lead to 14.
We've seen them make 3 of their first 4 shots. That's good shooting to jumpstart them here.
Here's Grant. Nails it from close range.
Assisted by
27 points for him.
That's the way to manufacture your shot against the taller defender. Solid effort.
Flynn gently drops it in. Nice bucket by the rookie out of Syracuse.
That makes it 4 for 5 to start the third. Really coming out of halftime looking to get a big jump on the opponent.
Now Love. New Orleans coming up empty. Tipped. Here's Ellington. Buries the jumper to finish the break.
No question that they've been the better offensive team so far. The execution has been flawless.
Gomes covering. Almost a three-point opportunity. Instead, he'll go to the line for 2.
personal foul, second team foul.
It's going to be on Ryan Gomes.
Armstrong, shooting 2.
He knocks down the first one. Some changes for the Hornets.
Substitution on the court.
And here are the Hornets now. Down by 12. Here's Grant in close. Lays it right in. He has 29. And so here's Minnesota. 10-point lead. Blunt dunks it down with both hands.
What is the defense doing letting him get easy dunks? They need to stay on their toes.
1 second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Gomes with it, averaging 12 points a game.
Here, they'll want to hold for 1 shot. Well, they still have the lead, but they really need to collect themselves and start taking care of the ball.
Gomes with it. They're leading by 8. Got a piece of it. Stolen by the Hornets. We've reached the end of the third, and it's been an exciting game. The score, 63-55. Johnny Flynn has played his heart out. 25 points and 6 assists.
Yeah, he's been filling it up, Kevin. No.
All right, the fourth quarter should begin momentarily. And here are the Hornets now. 8-point game. And it does look like turnovers will be a theme here.
Without question, Kevin. Let's see if they can squeeze the orange and hold it together. They've got to do a much better job of taking care of the ball.
And here is West. Right now averaging 15 points a game. Here's Paul. Love has it, and that's his 8th rebound of the contest. Knocked loose. It stays here. And a moment now to check out who Minnesota has coming up. They'll be taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. That'll be the 3rd game of this 3-game road trip. Hornets on D, trailing here by 8. Here's Gomes, hits the tray.
The pick wasn't ultra effective, but it got him just enough room for the score.
And here's New Orleans now. West backs down. From inside, that's good.
Explosive offense. These two teams have been going at each other this entire game.
Gomes. Yes, from downtown.
Great assist on that basket. He's seeing the floor well, and he's making some beautiful passes.
To Okafor. Kept alive. Here's Stojakovic. It bounces out of bounds after the shot. And now a look at the upcoming schedule for the New Orleans Hornets. After this one, they're off to Denver to take on the Nuggets. And that'll be game 2 of 4 straight on the road. And so here is Minnesota. At one point, they led by 16. It's stolen by the Hornets. Here's Grant, rips down the breakaway slam. 33 points for him.
No flash, no frills. I call that a pound cake dunk. Simple and plain, and a good finish.
Timberwolves on offense, 10-point lead. The steal by Grant. All alone, flushes it with the one-handed jam. They cut the lead to 8.
Kevin, that first step of his is as quick as a hiccup. He gets to the rim almost at will.
He's got to push it. Minnesota in the lead. To Wilkins, the handoff to Cardinal. 6 seconds to shoot. Wilkins leads him in. With 1 on the clock, Flynn leads the game in assists.
He saw the height mismatch and went to work immediately. That's smart basketball.
Paul sinks it.
That's a terrific play. I call that a room service dime because all he had to do was catch it and finish.
Flynn with an assist. This trip would have a double-double. Here's Cardinal. The bucket was set up with the dish by Flynn. And that gives him a double-double. Here comes Chris Paul. He's got 8.
2 minutes remaining in the quarter.
Pick by Okafor. Easy shot, gets the bucket.
Terrific pick to set up that basket. The little things are the big things, and they can always make a difference.
And so here is Minnesota. 8-point game. Tipped away. Here's Flynn. Drains it from short range.
He's not normally a prolific scorer, but he's given them a big lift in this one.
Coach Scott wants a timeout. They're down by 10. 1:35 left to the 4th. Over to you, Cheryl.
Well, I had a moment to speak with Kyle Walker, coach of the Timberwolves. He really wants his team to attack the paint. He said, guys, let's really attack them inside. We have an advantage down there. Let's use it. Kevin, back to you.
Thank you, Cheryl. And so here is Minnesota. They're leading by 8. They've got numbers. Up ahead, Paul. That's good.
Beautiful delivery with the bounce pass. He kept it away from the defense, which set up the shot perfectly.
They're running out of time. Grant is whistled for reaching in. That's his first foul.
Fouled him to prevent the easy basket. He'll have to earn it at the line.
Now Love. He's got 11. Outside. Six seconds to shoot. It's a pick by Love. Here's Flynn. Flips it in off the sweep pick. He has 29.
Defender couldn't get around the pick, and his help didn't show up in time. Nice play for the layup right there.
And here are the Hornets now, trailing here by 8.
That's not something you'll see very often. Got the mid-range jumper he wanted, but off target.
Here's Flynn from close range. Graceful finish.
Right on the verge of victory now. They don't need much more than to just take care of the basketball.
5-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Snatched down on D by Wilkins.
They're hitting the boards with a vengeance. That's been a big factor in building this lead.
Stolen by Grant. It's 1-on-1. It's in! And Minnesota has possession. At one point, they led by 16. Grant is tagged with the reach. That's his second foul of the game. In the bonus, will go to the line to shoot 2.
Second team foul. Love, shooting 2.
Sinks the first one, and that'll give him a 9-point lead.
Didn't hit them all, but didn't need to. That should seal this one up.
Doesn't get the second. The Timberwolves win the hard-fought game as they outlast the Hornets.